Next is the third part of question number 9, that is differentiate between the following, and we have to differentiate between homosporous and heterosporous pteridophytes. Now, what is the difference between heterosporous and homosporous pteridophyte? We know that two types of pteridophytes are found everywhere. That is, first if we talk about homosporous, this is homosporous, and this is heterosporous. Now what happens in homosporous pteridophyte? Only one type of spore, only one type of spores produced. Only one type of spores are produced on the sporophylls. Alright, which will give rise to bisexual gametophyte. And in case of heterosporous pteridophyte, there is presence of sporophyll, and sporophyll have two types of sporangias. One is microsporangia, and another one is megasporangia. It is megasporangia, inside which the microspores and megaspores. Microspores are being formed inside the microsporangia, which are male reproductive structure and male spores, and inside megasporangia, which is a female sporangia. Inside megasporangia, the female spores are going to be formed. Now, these two different spores we will get, female and male separate spores are produced inside microsporangia and megasporangia. Then these female megaspores are going to form female gametophyte, which will develop archegonium, which is the female reproductive organ, is developed on the female gametophyte, and the male microspore produced male gametophyte, which is going to develop antheridium on it, and inside antheridium the male gametes are going to form. After the formation of gametes, the male gamete is going to transfer to the female gametophyte, inside which the archegonium is present containing egg cell, and it will fertilize the egg cell. So this is the difference between homosporous and heterosporous. Homosporous pteridophytes are those pteridophytes inside which the homosporous pteridophytes have sporophylls, inside which only one type of sporangias are present, and in these sporangias there are sporogenous mother tissues or sporogenous tissues present, which will undergo meiosis and give rise to haploid spores. But only one type of spores are being produced inside the homosporous pteridophytes, and all these spores will germinate to give rise to gametophyte, and those gametophytes, all the gametophytes produced from these kind of spores are bisexual. That means the whole gametophyte is containing both the type of reproductive organs, male reproductive organ as well as the female reproductive organ, antheridium and archegonium. And in case of heterosporous pteridophyte, what happens in them? They have different sporophylls, they have different sporangias of course, and If we talk about the small sporangia in the sporophyll, the small sporangia contains sporogenous tissues which undergoes meiotic division to form microspores. Microspores are male spores, and in the large sporangias which are present at the base or lower surface of the sporophyll, they contain sporogenous tissues which undergoes meiotic division to form megaspores or macrospores, which are female spores. Now in heterosporous pteridophytes, there is formation of two different type of spores occurs, microspores and megaspores. Microspores are male spores, megaspores are female spores. Microspores are going to give rise to male gametophyte on germination, whereas the megaspore give rise to the female gametophyte on germination. Once the gametophyte is formed, each of the gametophyte, the male gametophyte and female gametophyte, will develop reproductive organs on them. The male reproductive organ antheridium is going to be developed on male gametophyte, whereas the female reproductive organ, that is archegonium, is going to be formed on female gametophyte. So this is the basic difference between homosporous pteridophyte and heterosporous pteridophyte, that in homosporous pteridophyte and heterosporous pteridophyte, spores are different in them and spores are similar in them. The gametophyte, basically the gametophyte formed in homosporous pteridophyte are bisexual, and in them always the gametophyte is unisexual. Always the gametophyte is unisexual, because there are two different type of gametes, there are two different types of spores present, and two different types of spores are going to give rise to different types of gametophytes on germination. So this is the complete solution of third part of 9th question.